Ruthless. Ruthless, lyric dissection. I'm going to start this with a little bit of explanation on general non-point thinking, writing, music writing. I really feel like the diversity in our music and how we go from rapid fire rap to middle tempoed songs, that in that diversity, I feel like the lyrics should also have a similar, diversity. I do a lot of different types of lyrical writing. I have storytelling, I have stream of consciousness, I have wordplay, even where I start a sentence and begin a meaning, and by the end of the sentence, because of a particular word in the middle of the sentence, now the sentence is flipped into another meaning, and then I finish off that particular thought. And then by the end of a particular section of the song, my goal basically is to invoke some kind of emotion that creates some sort of long-standing connection with the listener. I'm like a tarot card reader that tries to drop nothing but positive, affirming, motivating cards in front of the person that I'm reading for. So I always start with what I call a setup idea or feeling, where I have a riff or just an idea or a particular word or a moment that I'm trying to translate into a song. With Ruthless, like a lot of our songs, it was a lot of listener persona versus or against something else. To be honest, with Ruthless, my headspace, even though this came from someone from AEW reaching out and wanting us to work a song, I was going in for a fight song. The actual headspace of where the song was coming from was definitely the path that I saw coming with going independent. The Nonpoint persona is known as, we're hardworking, relatively nice guys. And what I learned very quickly going independent is that wasn't going to survive the Nonpoint brand and the Nonpoint band if I was always a nice guy. I knew that the gloves were going to have to come off every once in a while. I wanted to invoke that emotional response and that emotional feeling in the song. And light bulb went off, where the energy level of what I like to do on stage, I was like, what word is going to make people go, and also to invoke that me against the world and knowing what I was going to be dealing with, and Ruthless just came to mind. Since the chorus was written first, I think I'll just start at the chorus and dissect that first, because that's basically where my head was. So I'm going to take you guys down that path. It's about to get ruthless. Sometimes you gotta say something twice. You can't help but to imagine, knowing what kind of show that we put on, what's gonna happen. So I imagine them screaming that word, ruthless. My next lyric automatically goes to, it's time to get ruthless, because I know they're looking up at me, and what is he gonna say next? Everybody get, because I'm very inclusive. I like to include everyone in the lyrics, so that way they have an opportunity to feel that connection. And then the next part, if you haven't noticed already, I like to play with a lot of cadence. I like to play with a lot of acrobatic triplets and rapid fire lyric. That second half of the chorus is me going down that road. It's time to let the mud fly. I can't be a nice guy anymore. But I'm playing on those triplets. It's time to let the mud fly, target identified. And those pauses are just to give that extra, touch of swag, or it's that thing that makes people want to grab onto now the melody and the cadence, where it goes from a long triplet. It's time to let the mud fly, target identified. It's time to get ruthless. Statement is certified. It's time to get ruthless. Cover your eyes, yeah. So now we're going on to verse 1, and this is a lot of metaphor play, and what I play with a lot of double and triple entendres, where I'll start with a meaning and then switch the meaning a lot of times right in the middle of what I'm saying. So my head's in the place where I'm like headed down this road that's on my way that I'm independent, and I know that there's this path. It's sitting behind the wheel of a black Chevelle with my foot on the gas. So I know I'm going down this path. I got my hands on this wheel, my independence, and I'm speeding down a war path. So it's a path, but it's a war path. So it's not a physical path, but I'm using it in the sentence as it is. So I'm about to explode, speeding down a war path, front seat, self-offense. So I'm creating self-offense because a lot of people said this is a bad idea. You shouldn't be going independent. So, you know, in the back of my head, full transparency, there's a little bit of reluctance and worry. So am I creating my own damage? Am I hurting myself? Self-offense. Call it battle by proxy, because it's really, at the end of the day, me against me. It's me against my own confidence and me against basically who I was yesterday. That's what's really going to change. Am I creating self-offense? Well, I'm just putting that up to war. And that's what comes with war. You get damage when you're in that proximity. So battle by proxy, and the thing that may do that damage is inside. The next part is me going into where I go Goldilocks distance. How can I miss with a crack shot aim and verbal game like this? You know, I feel like we're in a real transformative place where we're creating a different kind of music in the camp, and it's breathing life into the band. And the way I look at it is Goldilocks distance is a term that scientists use to describe planets that are in that perfect distance from their star to create life. So when I use the term Goldilocks distance, I'm using it initially. You think about the initial meaning of that term, but then I put it into the fight scenario where it's Goldilocks distance. I'm in the perfect distance to strike, is how I'm really using that. Goldilocks distance, so how can I miss? I'm in that perfect distance, how can I miss? With a crack shot aim and verbal game like this. And that's where, you know, I'm putting attention on what is really going to be the driving force, which is our focus and our art. The next lyric, tell the masses all to behold and get another fighter on the phone. All the ones they sent so far, they couldn't stop me. One of the styles that I really like to play with, where it's that preacher mode. There's that standing behind the podium, speaking to the masses that, you know, that create emotion. And that's why I love stand-up comedy so much, because they create such a positive emotion that's what I try to do, but with a very intense message. That part kind of touches on that, where I'm tell the masses all to behold, and then I dip into where we were going down the AEW road, where I was saying, get another fighter on the phone, because all the ones they sent so far, they couldn't stop me. And that's a bit of a play on me thinking about my past 20 years in the industry, going, it still didn't stop me. So all the years they sent so far still didn't stop me, and I'm hungrier and feeling stronger than ever. You know, and I even kind of tail it off at the end there, you know, that I give a lot of the success to our band and attribute a lot of the success to our band to our willingness to never give up, honestly. This next part is, I'm still in the same headspace, but I'm touching more on where not so much the idea, but the initial inspiration came from, which was talking to the people in AEW and them reaching out saying that they wanted us to work a song into one of their events. You want to start it up without a way to win. I'm betting double or nothing, but I'm not gambling. Again, I was giving attention to that lyric Double or Nothing because I knew the Double or Nothing event was initially what we were going to be a part of.
Yeah.
But, when I think about it, I'm betting not only my money and the support of our fans financially, but a 20-year career on going independent. So I'm betting twice as much this time around on this release. So that's why, even though Double or Nothing was the title of an event, I could still really wear that on my sleeve, like I was saying, and say Double or Nothing because I really feel like I'm risking.
You're doubling down now.
So much right now. This song represents a lot of what we're going through. A lot of what we've been through over the last 3 years. You try to cage me up, but I got out again. So here I'm really speaking to Elias, bad Elias, ruthless Elias, nice Elias. Nice Elias versus ruthless Elias. And ruthless Elias is saying, you try to cage me up, nice Elias, but I got out again. And then everyone, you better cover your eyes, it's about to get ruthless. That is me, again, switching a lot of things from speaking out to speaking internally to speaking generally. The second verse, the first line, I'm about to go rogue. I love to give a really good, come back around if I can in my second verses, especially if I have another really good word, like going from explode to going rogue. I chose that word in particular because I'm going against industry's better judgment. The rumor basically is that an independent artist in a major label world, it's hard for them to reach that pinnacle of success that those big machines have. So I'm basically swimming in a shark tank like a field mouse. So that's where that next lyric comes in. I'm swimming in the shark tank, field mouse. But what they don't realize is back to that Chevelle, me behind the wheel. I may be missing every turn, but I still felt like we were banking hard, like hitting every turn that we wanted to. So that's where banking in my wheelhouse. And that's me playing on the image of me holding a wheel and then taking wheel house and then me being in this, because this is what we love to do. This is what I love to do. This is my wheelhouse. I love to write music. I love to write stuff that invokes emotion. I love to create emotion, connection with our fans. So that's where that lyric kind of pins that whole feeling. At this point in verse 2, I'm like my confidence level's on 11 and I can feel the tables are turning. That's where like bait them all, hook them all, sink them, and then run through them like it's the Olympics of life. And that's where it is. It's like I felt baited, hooked, sunk, and now I'm baiting, I'm hooking, and now I feel like I'm sinking that old Nonpoint and running through them like it's the Olympics of life. And then, you realize with that risk also comes a whole lot of work, but you realize in this process, and you even saw it over the, 3 years of building it, we realized that we just had to do the work. And as long as we got the work done, there was some level of success that we always grew from. Yeah. And the more we got control, the more we were able to work on. And that's where I felt like, that we were always winning. So I felt like that Wizard of Oz kind of Emerald City in the distance, where the road to gold is brick by brick. Right. But only the bold, who were considered broken and sick, old.
I got the visual of the yellow brick road.
Are showing up to cause another episode. And then, now that they see it, they realize that we can be this beast. And that's, me, again, that confidence level on 11 telling people you're in the presence of a monster. Beast mode. And the beast mode thing, I really felt like it came from people have seen us, our work ethic, and they see what we do on stage, what we try to do on stage as much as we can. It's a sweaty affair, but I feel like now that we're doing so much of the work on the other side of it, that there's a new beast that's really there, and that's where I really feel like that beast mode lyric came on and turned on. My bridge, the bridge is my answer to all the justifications I've been given. That they told me it's because of this, it's because of this, it's not my fault, it's not your fault, it's because of this. Again, things that you start to learn as you start to peel back the layers is it just feels wrong sometimes. And you don't want to do it that way. It almost feels criminal. So that's why sometimes that's where it comes. It's me speaking. This whole bridge is me speaking in quotations. Call it what you want to call it. I'm calling it criminal. Judgment day coming. It's about to get physical, which means I'm about to hit the gas. Where I see those smiles from, these sharks and the blood being in the water, acting all righteous, but you're too lawless. The shadows are moving and they always have you crawling because you feel that bottom feeder under the rock, slithering, I don't know, those moments where it just doesn't feel right. You try to put the smile on. And that's what this bridge is me taking the smile away and me deciding that now that it is in our hands, that we're going to play by our rules in a very unruly place, which is unruly by no fault of anyone in it right now. It is just what the animal is. And you start to realize that you got to be ruthless.